This is my dad, Gus. He lives in a farm in the Philippines. I've always felt he had an odd relationship with women. 3 years ago, I cut him out of my life because of social media.
You know that I haven't wanted to talk to you over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I noticed that you had some not good feelings about me, which I think my other kids had as well. You know, it's not only you. I think our political sides were on opposite sides. I did not really notice that there was some deep-seated problems between the two of us.
Like many parents and their children, Gus and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. Years of right-wing articles and heated political comments over Facebook wore a hole where our relationship had once been. In 2018, I posted an article on Facebook about a president I despised from the country I grew up in. He had pulled a woman on stage and pressured her to kiss him in front of a hooting audience. I didn't mince my words. Almost like clockwork, my father replied. I saw a woman who had been pressured into a sexual act by a man in power. He felt the kiss had been an innocent flirt. By the time we signed off, I knew this was the last time I wanted to speak to my father. This is me. I was the youngest, which made me the favorite. They said when I was born, Papa held me in his hands and gave me the nickname Mia, meaning mine in Spanish. These are my older siblings, Christian, Patrick, and Missy. They were in their teens while I was still in diapers.
Papa loves babies. He likes little ones. And then when they get a little older, he's like, okay, you're on your own.
I have a lot of frustrations with how he fathered me, in the sense that I wish he was more there. I blamed, the dissolution of the family on him.
He still looks at himself as the person who is in charge of everything.
Your parents tend to be your superheroes until they start doing the dumb things over and over again.
Gus and I were the best of friends growing up. I remember driving around Manila while he went bank to bank, trying to find the best deal on the dollar exchange. He would buy me Coke Slurpees and make jokes about hitting jaywalkers with his car. Life went from Slurpees to hospital rooms when my mother was diagnosed with cancer. She passed quickly, just after my 8th birthday. When I was 14, my dad moved to his farm in Cebu, leaving me to finish my studies in the city. I moved in with my aunties. Once every couple of months, my father and I called or texted. Eventually, I grew up and moved to New Zealand, and the calls stopped. We let Facebook do the talking for us, a no-strings-attached way of keeping in touch with the strangers I still called family. In hindsight, it wasn't surprising that things ended the way they did.
When my dad posts things on social media, I personally feel ashamed and embarrassed that this is coming from somebody who raised me.
You just won't stop commenting.
I have unfollowed Papa on social media. I cannot stand his social media posts.
There was this one time I was in the mall and I just called him and I got to talking about our very opposing political views, and I ended up screaming in the mall and saying, "You're not listening!"
Does it bother you that we have such different opinions?
I think you're so much like your mom. Your mom was very independent-minded. She was well-rounded. She was well-traveled. She had her own opinion. And you are almost a carbon copy of her. I like the debate. I like the different ideas. I think naman I'm very open-minded. Although I can be opinionated, especially when I believe in the things that I believe in, because I've lived through it. When I see something wrong, I have to say something about it.
I guess, how do we cross that bridge if for you it's a debate and for me it's a matter of life?
I looked to my past for more clues. How did we become so different? When I was in high school, Papa asked if I had a boyfriend. He told me to stay thin and to always have sex with my partner, lest he cheat on me. I was the first in my friend group to sprout breasts. They felt huge, unwieldy, and awkward. I complained about being the only 12-year-old in my year who had to wear grown-up bras. My father laughed and said, "Don't worry, you'll be glad for them someday. Or at least your boyfriend will." It felt like eyes were always on me. An elderly man grabbed my chest while I was at the mall. A taxi driver showed me porn and tried to touch my thigh.
Ew.
Both times I was wearing my high school uniform. I hid my body, but nothing I wore seemed correct. When clothes fit me, they were malaswa. When they were baggy, I was sloppy or unfeminine. Papa and I fought about my appearance all the time. He hated that I wore extra-large skater shirts and baggy pants. How was I supposed to tell him that men were simply appreciating my body the way he taught me they would?
Why do you post the things you do online?
My only intention is to speak up what I think is right. And if people react to it, then so be it. Because you cannot please everybody anyway. It's coming from me being a male chauvinist pig, right? So, but that's my background. That's my generation. Doesn't make it right, but that's my instinct in short.
I guess from your perspective, it's not that bad. But for me, it was such a big deal that I couldn't really talk to you for 3 years. And am still maybe considering how to place our relationship, if that makes sense. Why do you think I'm
Because you think I left you. And I was also not home all the time when I was in Cebu. I was so busy in Cebu, I forgot all about you. And I also feel a little bit guilty because we did lose your mom. And then I let you go to your aunties. I lost my wife, who was also my rudder. I was like swimming in a turbulent sea. There are some things I'm doing, hoping that it will show you a side of me to convince you that I really love you. I'm working on that. It's actually my life's purpose now. Once that's done, I feel that I would have made up for all the hurt that I did. Even if you hate me, I will never hate you. That's the way I am with my children.
It surprised me that he was so attuned to what I had been thinking and feeling this whole time. Maybe our parents know more than we like to think. In some ways, that made it worse. I had spent all this time thinking my father was just another brainwashed Facebook nut job, but he seemed self-aware. He understood the issues that stood between us, and that made it hard to continue painting him in black and white. I still resent my father's social media presence and everything it stands for, but that now feels small compared to the wider issues at play between us. He was guilty about our past, but not apologetic about where we had ended up in the present. Papa was content that he was who he was, and I was who I was. After all that, I still don't want him in my life. At least not for now. I think there'll always be a distance between us, but that's just something I need to figure out, one phone call at a time.